Yeah, this is the chat show down at the Shore Studio at the back of the grandstand. Very quiet down here today with it not being a race day, but it's beautiful with the sunshine.
And they've just fired the PA up
I said
as well.
very quiet, and then the PA came on. It was just like I asked for that. We've had a couple of really lovely messages coming in, because you can, of course, you can tweet us at Manx Radio TT. You can go over to Facebook Live. We are on there, and you can post comments on the page. I just want to pick up on this tweet that I just saw Steve tweeting, saying, "This morning, my kids got attention paddock, 1 minute to be out the door for school," which I think is absolutely brilliant. And over on the Facebook, again, loads of messages here. So we've got Michael is listening in Lincolnshire, keeping the horrible weather over there so that we can have a great TT. Sue is really enjoying the chat shows from Poynton in Cheshire, hometown of the late great Paul Shoesmith. Fletcher says, "We think you do a great job, Tony. You rock." And that is from your nephews down under in Perth in Australia. And Bob is listening from Greenbelt, Maryland in USA. And we were talking before about favourite memories of the TT. The question was put to all of us, Chris Kinley.
Well, you go first.
Oh, okay. Well,
through you.
Do you know what? This actually comes back to me being a kid, and not necessarily the TT circuit, but actually the Blount circuit, because I grew up on the start-finish line in Ballylock, and so when the early morning practices were happening, I could smell the two-stroke as I was waking up, and I was woken up by the sound of the bikes, and I used to love sort of running out and just being able to be behind the grandstand there and just seeing the bike set off and coming in again, and all of that, being a kid around that was brilliant. And funnily enough, I was walking around here last night, and I stepped out of my door in Douglas, and I could smell the two-stroke. It brought me right back again.
Somebody's probably fired one up. Yeah, I think for me as well, obviously, you grew in Ballylock. I grew up in School Hill, which is the final corner there, on the Castletown corner of the bridge. And as a kid, growing up, running from Maloo Street as we were in then, and we moved to School Hill Estate a bit later on, the top there, where the Ballylock and the School Hill Estates meet, is like a little crown in the hill, like a hill, and you can stand in the top there. And when the 250s would go, or the 350s would go, you could just see from down the bottom where they have the paddock and everything, they're just a cloud and haze. And I've actually got that now in my mind's eye, completely in my mind's eye. That's there now. Yeah, that's one of the memories for me. And also being brought up like Tony, I suppose, a similar sort of age. Tony's obviously a lot younger than me. Are you the same age as me, Tony? 47? Don't lie. Don't lie.
+1.
Are you 48 now? I knew you were older than me. And being brought to watch Mike Aylward, in '78, and being on the inside. I've said this before at Union Mills. We actually went through the river, me and my dad. And that's the most adventurous thing my dad has got for a long time. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening, by the way. And we went under there, and I think we've seen about 3 bikes go through, and then we're told to shift by the marshals, because sticking your head out of a gutter to see... Yeah, it wasn't the safest place to bring an 8-year-old child, but it was good fun.
I love that. You see, you've been involved in the thick of it, doing the commentating for all of these years, and yet your favourite memories of being out there watching it as a kid.
I marshalled for near 20 years as well. You see, at Castletown at the football stadium there, also at the Castletown Bridge, and also down at the paddock. Marshalled down at Quarterbridge, marshalled out at Braddon Bridge, marshalled the 33rd milestone with Milky.
That was fun.
That was a night to remember. Also done one early morning practice. I went out with a friend of mine who, I'm not sure, Andy Colgan, is he still a marshal out there at Hanley's, that sort of area? Anyway, he works at the hospital, and he said to me, could you come and help me out? He said, come out to where I am at Hanley's. He said, and you can come here. I thought, do you know what, that'd be great, somewhere really, really different. And he said, we're short today, can you do the flag, which is now McGuinness's? And I thought, yeah, okay, we'll have a do it, but you're on your own, but we've got your radio and a set of flags and all the stuff. I thought, okay, fair enough, we're only up the road. I thought, all right, yes, we'll have a bit of that. Dear God in heaven, that's fast through there, unbelievably fast through there, just blew me away. That's a great spot to watch, and obviously now named McGuinness as well, yeah, but that's another memory as well. There's too many. You can write a book. Now there's an idea. John, you can be my PR man. We're going to write a book, TT Memories and How Not to Mention the Southern 100. That's what we're going to call it.
Hey, I've got a bit of the circuit named after me. It's not just McGuinness, it's got a bit of the circuit named after him. Ginger Hall.
Hey.
Had to be said.
Save the bad jokes for the afternoon show that you're covering on Manx Radio, please, if you don't
Thanks
mind.
very much for that. But the TT's almost coming to an end for this year, but it's all right because we mentioned the Blount circuit, soon to be Southern 100 as well.
It is post-TT races, obviously, on this Saturday. We'll be down there with Manx Radio covering that. And, of course, the Blount circuit on Monday the 9th of July will echo to the sound of motorbikes once again. Roads close at 6, Monday the 9th of July, Tuesday the 10th, Wednesday the 11th, and Thursday the 12th, of course, is an all-dayer down there, really, with a split sort of day. It used to just be the afternoon years ago, but there's that many races that they used to have on down there. Blount circuit, Tony, you know you have to provide travel and marshals down there. You like that track, don't you?
Fantastic track, yeah. Ideal for, especially for the boys coming to the Manx Grand Prix. Great practice, great run club, and everything's spot on down there. It's a great circuit.
Did you have success down there as well?
The highest was about 5th.
Okay.
I used sort of top 6, 5th, 6th. But again, Joey Dunlop, Richard Coates, all the Irish guys.
Dennis McCulloch, people like that.
McCulloch, James Courtney. Oh. It was a tough old race in them days.
Yeah, it was. The 250s about 6 or 7, 8. And do you remember that year when about the 5 leading pack went into the bridge and they all knocked each other off?
Neil Richardson
won it, didn't he? That's right.
He did,
that was. And then somebody. Where were you with that one?
I'm not sure on that one. What year was that?
Oh God, that was 96, 7 around that sort of time. Maybe before that. But I do remember that.
Probably about 6th.
That was a cracking race. Some great races down there. Christy.
Yeah, speaking of marshals, I just had this lovely message in from Richard, who wants to say hello to Roger Court, who has been a marshal at the Isle of Man TT for over 50 years.
Okay.
Which is fantastic. Lizzie, we were talking about licensing with regards to yourself earlier, but there's a really good post that's been going around this year on Facebook. And it's dissuading people who come over from going out and having a go themselves, racing around the circuit, because these guys who do actually race, they've got to go through an awful lot before they actually find themselves on the start line, haven't they? There's all sorts of, you've got to get your club licence through to national, and then you've got to actually go through, as we were hearing yesterday with Milky and John there. So just tell us about a bit of that process to actually get race ready.
Especially for the Isle of Man, they've got what they call the mountain course licence. So you go through the ACU for that, and you've got to, especially to come to a newcomer here, you've got to have done so many trips over, laps with accredited, Milky and Johnny are accredited ACU instructors. It gives them and the organisers a chance to meet the guys. You get to suss out a lot of people. We do the same for the Manx Grand Prix newcomers as well. Getting to meet them, you can work out sort of who's sensible and whether they're actually ready to take it on. And it gives the riders the chance to see the Isle of Man, and we do get some, I think, that come over and no, this place isn't for me. It's not a short circuit, and it's just completely different.
So how does it change then? Because obviously we were talking yesterday as well about going from the Manx into the TT. It is the same circuit at the end of the day. Yes. So what is it that changes when you step up to the TT?
The speeds, really. The boys you're on the track with, really, and qualifications a lot higher. Obviously, you've got to know your stuff to be coming up to the TT. I think some of the boys that do the Manx, they're top of the game at the Manx, they get a massive shock, and I think a few have at TT this year that have stepped up. Yeah,
Darren Cooper said that to me yesterday for the start this year. I'm used to being up at the front of the Manx Grand Prix, and now I'm down at about 20th, 21st place. And there's been a few of the Manx Grand Prix lads have moved up from last year. Jonathan Perry, we mentioned before, Richard Charlton, Darren Cooper, Mikey Evans again. They've all moved up, but they've all upped their game, because it's like at any sport, and Tony will agree, being a racer, you get with those guys you mentioned, Joey Dunlop and things like that. When you're racing against them, they dragged you on a bit, didn't they?
Yeah, it's like any sport. You go from step to step, and you go from club, you go to national, and then you go to international. There's all those big steps, and you've got to keep pushing and see how far you can get up on that ladder, really.
Just coming up 8:42 it is now. Dr. Gareth Davies is here as well. I notice you wearing a little body camera thing. There's this to record this interview, so it can be used as evidence later against us. Obviously wearing and is that used obviously with the incidents that you have to go to for training purposes?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's really important to be able to learn from all of the incidents that we go to. So we have about 40 doctors, paramedics and nurses that are involved with the racing, and medically it's very complex now. There's 3 helicopters, response cars, multiple ambulances, St. John's are involved, Red Cross were involved. It's very technical now, and the standard of care that the riders get is up there with anywhere in the world in terms of technical medicine. And all of our staff are volunteers, and so bringing them together to produce exactly the same level of care that we would, say, in London at a serious incident, we have to practice, we have to train, and we have to do lots of simulations. And the body cam is part of that, so that we review our missions and go through them in detail, and if there's anything that we can tweak or improve, we share that with the helicopter teams, so that the next job or the next mission will be better than the last one. So this is a really important tool for us to learn.
You have doctors and nurses coming from all over the place. They're not all from the Isle of Man. They're all from all parts of the world.
No, that's right.
Literally, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, literally. So there are obviously local doctors. Some of them GPs. Some of them up at Nobles that contribute. But there's staff coming over from the UK. But
because they're TT fans, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're TT fans.
Yeah, they are. And it isn't just the UK. It's Europe, and we have people coming from as far away as Australia who will come and work as paramedics at the trackside, or they will work as one of the doctors in the helicopter. So, and they're all very experienced, very senior people. So actually, what's going on medically trackside is actually a really, really high level that everyone, including the organisers, should be really proud of. It's as professional as everything else that's out there.
Okay, we're joined on the chat show this morning. Just heard there from Dr. Gareth Davies. Got Lizzie Kinvig for race control, Dave Hagen, who's technically minded, loses me on some of the things, and also Chief Travelling Marshal Tony Duncan. We need to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to hear from the